Our next guest is a frequent attendee and speaker there. Please welcome back to the program Dr. John Edeen. Dr. John is the Chief Surgeon of Arms Room Radio. Dr. John, welcome back to the program.
Hey, it's great to be back with you guys again. I always enjoy spending some time with you folks and your audience.
Love having you back here. Dr. John, what could you tell us, insight on Gun Rights Policy Conference for the general public to attend? What would your recommendation, what would your insights be?
Well, I can tell you this will be my fourth Gun Rights Policy Conference. The first time I went as a regular audience member, and that's where I met Tim Wheeler, who is the founder of Doctors for Responsible Gun Ownership. So GRPC actually helped facilitate my trip into the Second Amendment world.
Right.
Now I'm part of the leadership of Doctors for Responsible Gun Ownership. The second time I went, I was stood up there and I followed Masad Ayub on the dais giving a talk.
No pressure.
Okay?
No pressure.
So it's pretty. It can be pretty amazing the connections you can make and how it can affect your journey into the Second Amendment advocacy world. I never would have imagined that I would be sitting here on the radio talking to people all over the United States, when I walked into the front door at the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Houston in 2013. So, plus, you get the chance to meet people like Alan Gura.
Right.
And I'll be there. You can walk up and talk to me. I'll talk to anybody.
Right.
I love talking to people.
That's how we met him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great. You'll meet the guys that are, your local person. You'll the person in, if you're in Georgia, the person from Georgia. If you're from California, guys from California. If you're from New Jersey, probably going to be guys from New Jersey.
Oh yeah, they'll all be there. Listen, and this is
be there.
This is John's right. This is not only the national level. This is all the states. All of the grassroots people from all of the states are there, and this is where, we meet them. There's one or two other events throughout the year, but this is the one when, if you want to be involved in Second Amendment rights, this is the place to go. This is the place to be.
Right, and the other thing is you can actually, if you can't be there, you can actually watch it live online as well. So we would much rather have you be there, and the thing is, it's free.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay. You have to get there, and you have to pay your hotel, but they feed you, lunch every day, and it's really a very worthwhile thing. Plus, you get a pile of books.
I was going to say, what you are going to have to pay for is extra luggage to go back, because Alan Gottlieb and the Second Amendment, Andrew Gottlieb out there at the Second Amendment Foundation, hook you up with an entire library of reference material.
Right. For me, fortunately, I'm driving, so I don't have to worry about extra luggage on this one. But
rub it in.
It's amazing, and and you'll have people. First of all, it's in a hotel that allows carry, so we'll all be carrying.
Right.
It'll be the safest. It'll be the safest hotel, convention.
That's it.
In the country that weekend, because nobody's going to mess with any of us there, because we're all armed.
Exactly right.
And it's going to be. I can't tell you the number of just fantastic people that I meet every time I go, and whether it's you guys or like Cheryl and Dan Todd, or Black Man with a Gun,
Ken,
or Maj
Touré,
or there's just people
right.
galore that you want to meet, you want to know,
and they're there.
Ken Blanchard, Black Man with a Gun.
Right.
I was trying to remember his name, but just great folks. And so it's really it's as much fellowship as it is exchange of information.
John, we got a couple of minutes left here. I want to talk to you about tactical anatomy with Dr. James Williams, and I think Kevin's got a little comment he wants to make here, but I do want to talk to you. Who's Dr. James Williams, and tell us about tactical anatomy.
Sure. Yeah, James Williams is a trauma surgeon and a SWAT doctor. Right now, he's kind of doing the traveling ER doc stuff. He's a really good guy, but he does a class called Shooting with X-ray Vision, and he does it mostly to law enforcement people. Unfortunately, it's limited, but he has a website called Tactical Anatomy, and I think it's worthwhile looking at that. And he's got some pretty good ideas as far as understanding what you're shooting at, what's inside the human body, thinking of the human body in the three-dimensional terms as to, if you want to make a stop, you want to hit the pump and the big blood vessels. If you're shooting a high center of chest, what's in the high center of chest? What are you aiming at? Where are you actually shooting? If you want to make a brain stop, you want to hit the brain stem. Well, where is the brain stem? Right. From the front, from the side, from the back? What are you trying to shoot? And also, we talk about the pelvic shot, shooting the lateral pelvis. You're trying to get the big blood vessels, the nerves, and maybe the hip joint, and taking out the upper femur to put the guy on the ground. Or if you don't have a shot at the high center of chest or head, you may be able to hit, in the pelvis, or if there's body armor involved, you either have the head or the pelvis to shoot at. And where specifically in the pelvis you need to shoot. You just can't shoot the pelvis and expect the guy to go down. There's a specific triangle that you need to aim at in the outer half or the lateral half, kind of where the leg joins the pelvis itself. That's where you're trying to hit, because that's where the blood vessels are, that's where the femoral nerve is, and that's where the hip joint is.
John, is having a trauma surgeon tell you where to place your shot sort of like insider trading? Because I know if somebody came and asked me how to commit a crime and not get caught, I'd kind of not be able to tell them the answer to those questions.
It absolutely is. And remember, in a gunfight, cheating is allowed.
Yeah.
So the more you know about the anatomy, the better your shot placement is. Now, you still have to execute the shot, but if you're shooting at the right place and you're making hits in the right place, you're going to be more effective. It's actually better for the guy you're shooting, frankly, because if you hit him in an effective place, you have to shoot him less.
Yeah, listen,
think about it.
So something like 85% of all people shot with a firearm survive that gunshot wound.
Right. Especially with
but
a
not
handgun.
If they're shot 34 times.
Yeah, true.
He wouldn't go down.
Listen, law enforcement, remember the North Hollywood shootout back in 91, 92, I think it was, and where the bank robbers were all dressed up in the body armor and the police didn't have the required equipment, high power enough rifles.
Right.
All they had were their handguns. Now, a class like this, because listen, those guys had hips exposed, they had necks exposed, they
actually had stopped one of them. It was a brainstem shot.
Right. But that was it. If with this kind of training, this could have stopped that much earlier instead of the 44 minutes that it ended up being that it went on.
Right.
Now, Dr. Williams does have, at least according to their website, they do have civilian classes. So obviously it caters to law enforcement, but civilian classes are offered out there too.
Yeah, no, and he's a pretty good guy. I've had some phone conversations with him talking about the pelvic shot and things like that. So I think that the bottom line is the more anatomy you know, you understand what you're aiming at, where the big pipes are, for instance, the more effective your self-defense is going to be. And whether you need to do if you have to do an immediate stop because there's a hostage situation and you need to take a headshot, you need to know where in the head you need to shoot.
Exactly.
Because if you hit the brainstem, it's like cutting the strings on a marionette. They go right down.
John, we gotta run, John. We gotta coming up on a break, but I appreciate you joining us again. It's Doctors for Responsible Gun Ownership, drgo.us. If you're in the medical field and you support Second Amendment rights, check out drgo.us. Dr. John, thank you for joining us.
All right, this is Dr. Johnny Dean, Chief Surgeon of Arms Room Radio. Keep your knives and your scalpel sharp and your mind sharper.